The uptake of electric cars in Australia has long been tied to the installation of charging stations on the nation's highways. Major routes have numerous charging options, but in regional areas they remain few and far between.
Kerrang's Ron Kelly has owned his electric car since September, and he loves it.
Surprises us every day. We keep getting these over-the-air updates like a computer that give us new and better features, even improvements in the performance of the car.
The car can travel more than 400 kilometres before it needs recharging, which is good because charging stations in Victoria's northwest are still few and far between. The nearest supercharged stations are in Horsham, Bendigo and most recently Mildura, and they're all a long way from Kerrang. But Ron Kelly says it's simple when you plan ahead.
We can go to Melbourne and back and use the supercharger in Bendigo and have absolutely no worries about getting there and back.
The Mildura station was installed last month, giving the state's most isolated regional city an important place on the national charging station roadmap.
Our aim is to make certain that all of the people who go on road trips and enjoy rural Australia can continue to have choice and continue to have access, and having an EV charger in a town like Mildura will make a big difference.
This is very close to town. People can lock their car up, go and have a coffee, 45 minutes later come back and collect their car. The site was central and it's very easy to get to just about anywhere in the CBD.
The Kellys say living in regional Victoria is no barrier to owning an electric vehicle, and they're happy to talk to anyone about the benefits.
I'm happy to educate people into the viability of the car. It's certainly given us absolutely no range anxiety as yet, and we've been able to go where we want, when we want.
They're now looking to get a second, bigger vehicle with enough grunt to tow their caravan. Kelly Hollingworth, ABC News, Mildura.
A tradition